and keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Right, you're right on time for the Bottom Line KE. It's actually a climax for every new week, and that is what we do right here. We put a cherry on the cake as far as political events in the country are concerned. Of course, my name as always is Eugene Anangwe, and I'm right here to serve you, and I have a very able panel tonight to dissect the political temperatures in the country. We'll be asking ourselves who is actually fooling who when it comes to the 2022 game plan. There are those who are already reading some conspiracy theories. There are those who are saying that apana, this is the usual siasa ya kawaida. And of course, we want to understand from your point of view, where is the country heading as far as the politics of 2022 is concerned? Are you okay with what is going on in the country? Is there something sinister that you're reading, or you feel like it is normal? This is just how things happen in a democracy. We'd love to read your thoughts. All you need to do is join us via all our social media platforms. The hashtag, as always, is the Bottom Line KE. You can tweet at LookUpTV, or you can tweet me directly at Eugene Anangwe. The most important thing is just to add that particular hashtag, because that's what we'll be tracking throughout this particular program. I see Wanjiko, I see Seth Bisimo all the way in Rwanda saying that ready for this show. Thank you very much. Of course, Comrade Ogutu is also there. We have Machako Skid, we have Mwendwa, and of course Patricia Minor, and many, many others who are already tuned in across all our digital platforms. We are live on Facebook, so we'll also be reading some of your comments when you leave them right there. Also on our YouTube channel, you can also subscribe and be able to leave a comment. It's at LookUp TV. I want us to go through some of the conversations that have already been going on online, what people have already been saying about the particular situation in the country. Before I introduce our guests in the program tonight, we've been able to hear some people mentioning about the temperatures in the country, the political temperatures in the country. Of course, we've been able to see Robert Alai has also been able to make a statement on these particular issues, and he's been able to actually ask, why are we pretending to be blocking Deputy President William Ruto in central Kenya when, we seem to be actually giving strength to the Deputy President in the sense of ensuring that he's getting sympathy votes, or looking to be as if, he's being campaigned for. This is what he said. Just also we have Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, who says, lower the temperature, leaders. This is something that he said earlier on social media. There's been a lot of conversations around the current political temperatures in the country. We'll be able to read and see some of them in the course of the program. But let me introduce our panelists on the show tonight. I have none other than Gloria. She's making a return to the program, and every time Gloria's picture is on the poster, people tell me this is going to be fire. And of course, when we also add on, Elder Javas Bigambo, now they say, this is going to be even more fire.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Governance expert. And of course, with us virtually, he could not be able to come to set, but of course, technology nayo ni nani. We have Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. joining us on the program. And now you can imagine that power panel just to be able to understand and discuss the future of our country as far as politics is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana kwenye show. I want us to start off with that tweet by, Grand Mula. He says, lower the temperatures, leaders lower the temperatures. And as always, I want to start with you, Gloria. There seems to be some, heightening of the temperatures as far as politics is concerned. We've seen, rallies, we've seen statements being made left, right, and center. And we are not even into 2022, Are you reading the same temperature readings that Grand Mula is reading?
The issue, first of all, thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
And it's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's not about the temperatures going high. You see, if all political divides were really pushing on empowerment or, what you call the issue-based politics, then by all means, those are the conversations that we want heightened, If we are talking about how we are going to secure those regions where they have issues with, internal conflicts and things like that, for sure, let's shout about that and, and push our politics towards that. So for me, I wish the temperatures were heightened because of the issues we are trying to solve. For instance, when we had the Building Bridges initiative going around, and the drivers of that initiative going around sensitizing people, having their rallies, they were discussing issues. They were actually saying, we are going to do this, we are going to solve this problem this way, and the temperatures were high. But then it's because we were actually discussing real issues. But when you have the temperatures rising because of political intolerance, because someone does not subscribe to the Building Bridges initiative. So the Building Bridges initiative, people, when they go to, let's say, Kisii to launch, I decide I am going to throw stones, I decide I'm going to go and, start chaos. Then we are no longer actually having a sort of a healthy conversation in terms of politics.
Right.
And that's exactly what we are seeing of late. There's this narrative that has really flown off the shelf. The Hustler Nation movement. There's this ideology that even if you say it's euphoria, it's there, people believe, it's brought a new sense of hope.
Yeah.
So if only we would be tolerant towards the things we don't believe in, then what we would be seeing our opponents doing, the ODM guys and any other person who does not subscribe to the Hustler Nation movement, we will be seeing them coming strong about what they're selling. We would actually see Gladys Wanga, instead of saying, these people are looking for sympathy votes, when she has an opportunity to stand in front of people, we would see her selling Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, pushing their narrative, pushing their solutions, pushing their ideologies. And that is healthy. So you're feeling
they are missing the opportunity.
And that is healthy.
Yeah.
They are missing the opportunity by engaging in toxic politics in the sense that they are being intolerant.
Right.
Yes.
Elder Jarvis, I want to hear your thoughts. Are you reading hope, as she says, that, this whole Hustler Nation narrative has brought a sense of hope in terms of the direction the country is supposed to be taking? Or are you feeling the temperatures are just rising and there's a lot of euphoria being created that is not necessary for us?
Well, I refuse to read.
Yeah?
I refuse to read completely.
Utaandika sasa.
Let me say that we are finding ourselves in a festival of political buffoonery. And this festival, as it is of course occasioned by the electioneering period that we are in, but it's not a festival that should surprise any of us, because we have elected as a people to refuse properly to learn from what makes sense within us and within our history. And in fact, whatever is being witnessed that is leading to these sensational politics, euphoric attempt to create euphoric speed into the general election of 2022 is because of an absence of ideas.
Absence of ideas.
And this absence of ideas is what has created and sustained political infertility of imagination for decades. While I should not use that in a blanket way, because when you put all politicians in Kenya on a scale, you'd realize that not all of them can fit in one scale. We have got some finest politicians in this country, brilliant minds. But what we are seeing is that these politicians find themselves in the misfortune of parties that are not ready and willing to entertain critical ideas, progressive ideas. The other thing is that political parties have refused to take this country forward. From where I sit, I consider that political parties are to democracy what grammar is to language. It helps and points and gives the rules for construction and syntax. And for political parties, they are the enablers of a mature and sensible democracy. But let's face it, much as we are a democracy, we are not a sensible democracy.
We are not a sensible democracy.
We are intolerant to the core. We are unimaginative to the core. And the other thing is that we have refused to grow a backbone and we have refused to grow up. Today, I can tell you, for instance, our political parties have refused to move forward. And even when you look at the issues, conglomeration of formations that are supposed to create coalitions, it is coalitions of senselessness, coalitions of angling for raw power, not ideas. And in fact, as we even get into these deliberations, I'll be keen to see, for example, even the political party that sponsored Senator Mutula to office, as it is positioning and angling with other political parties. What ideas is it that they have? Today, as we analyze these issues that we are calling temperatures, political temperatures in this country, are these temperatures fostered by ideas? No.
It's emotions.
It is not just emotions, but lack of ideas. And you know, nature hates vacuum. And because of the absence of these ideas, then idiocy is perfected. And it is this that is now leading to these unnecessary temperatures. Because the kind of temperatures that we are witnessing today are dangerous temperatures that are reminiscent of the 2007 post-election malaise. They are temperatures that do not foster political brotherhood. They are temperatures that are not making a cohesive political fabric in our country. They are the kind of temperatures that are keen to bring down the house that is our country.
Right. Let me bring in Senator Mutula Kilonzo. I mean, you've been listening to the two speakers in the opening remarks, each of them giving their sense on the issue of the political temperatures. Java says he will not read anything. And of course, we've heard from Gloria, who feels that there's an absence of ideas, and that is why people are not tolerant to others. And so we are diverting the energy to the wrong places in terms of these heightened temperatures. Senator, you have been lauded as among the young leaders in this country who are straightforward, straight thinking. But Java says there's been a vacuum. There's a vacuum, and that vacuum is easily, taken over by what we are seeing today. What is going on? What happened?
Thank you for inviting me. First, I think we must deal with that concern. And that concern should bother everybody. The concern that of what Ahmed Nasir is talking about. Now, in the run-up to the 2007 election, and allow me to say at the onset that the idea of chaos, the idea of a crisis, in my view, is created by the same government that is trying to perpetuate the idea that they are trying to stop William Ruto. That's where the problem is. So this is a conspiracy. As far as I'm concerned, it's a conspiracy to promote William Ruto. There are people in government who are promoting him by creating a narrative that they are going to stop him from becoming a president. Now, that is the 2007 matrix where the former Justice Minister Martha Karua and the people who were in the Kibaki administration attempted to have an IBC, so to speak, of their choice, elected commissioners of their choice. The point is this, that the narratives will be there. I mean, NAC created a narrative to remove Moi out of power and his preferred candidate, Uhuru Kenyatta, the president. Jubilee created a narrative, false narrative. They were looking smart, shirts, whatever, those things. Everybody is going to create a narrative. What is important is this. And I must disclose that's part of the reason that in terms of the Building Bridges initiative, this was my take home. That we need a peaceful election. We need people to sell whatever it is that they are selling. I mean, Kenyans will judge whatever it is that they are doing. The point is that we need a peaceful election. So instead of talking about a peaceful election, how you're going to have a level playing field, you see police interference, you see the government appearing as if it's being overbearing. That is how you create chaos. You create chaos unknowingly or knowingly. As far as I'm concerned, this is being done deliberately to promote William Ruto by functionaries in the Jubilee government. And that is the temperatures that Ahmed Nasir is talking about, because you have not seen Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga going out to Kibera to say, go to the streets, do this, let's resist, or any other person from my former coalition. So the idea that the government or even the president, and I had occasion, and I must disclose because I like being candid.
Yeah.
That in a meeting where I was present, I told the president myself that his legacy will not be those beautiful roads you see in town. His legacy will not be the beautiful dams. The legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta will be handing over power peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
That is his legacy. And I told him he's going to be young enough to see a country which he has left in terms of him providing that sort of leadership.
Yeah.
So we must go back to the conversation of an election. We have an election in 300 and something days. Are we making sure that each person is given that opportunity to ask for votes fairly? That is what it should do. And therefore, a narrative that you're going to stop this candidate and you're going to promote this candidate is what creates the euphoria that you are seeing in the country. When it is not necessary, and it is completely wrong, because you have leaders who have a following. And if those people get the impression, because politics and elections are about impressions.
Yeah.
People have lost by 3 votes, people have lost by 10 votes. But you want the person who has lost to say, I have lost fairly. The person who has won to say, this was a victory. Because the followers of every person, and I can tell you, Rift Valley is going to be her hotspots of this election. And the media houses and all of us must speak about this candidly, very candidly. And we must say that the establishment must act responsibly. They have responsibility to every Kenyan. The police have responsibility to every Kenyan. That's why it's called Tumitumishi for what? Let the people who are in the public service stay in their offices and not use their offices, their flags to propagate or even appear to be creating a narrative or an attempted result of their choice. It cannot happen, and we cannot agree to those things. Let everybody lose and win on a level playing field.
Right.
That is the insecurity that I want to refer to. We can discuss narratives. People can sell wheelbarrows, mangoes, cows, whatever it is. But let there be an opportunity to say we love our country more. We love our country more than we love the things that are going to happen if we destroy this country.
Right.
Just remember the picture that you saw in recently about the coup. And somebody sent me a text and a video and I said, we hope we never get here. And I said, yes, we can only hope we don't get there if we act, all of us, responsibly as citizens. Thank you.
Right. Senator, there's something you'd alluded to some time ago, and you've just mentioned it right now, and I want us to be very clear on it. You have said that there is a deliberate attempt to promote or create a narrative that would make William Ruto sail through quite easily. What are you trying to say? Who is this that is fooling us? Or those who feel like the deputy president is at loggerheads with the president, but yet there is a theory or conspiracy theory to actually promote him in all these actions that are happening today?
The fact of the matter is that the Jubilee government is split. It's split in all forms because that Jubilee government was created, of course, by both the president and his deputy. So, and since government has not changed and nobody has moved anywhere, the likelihood that there are people who have divided loyalties in terms of who their boss is very high. And you have seen that in the cabinet, it is said, it's most likely in the civil service. Somebody posed a very important question, and you must ask, why is it that there's a person in William Ruto's campaign who seems to know when a carpet drops in State House? How does he know that information? Where does he get it from? Isn't he getting it from the same establishment and the same people who are giving out information confidentially either to the president? So what am I saying? I am simply saying that there are people who are doing things so deliberately so that you can create the sympathy that William Ruto is getting out there in the public. That he's a victim of the government is trying to stop him, the church, he was stoned, he was this. Isn't it deliberate? Are you seeing people who are serious? These people are not serious at all in the things that they are doing. Today they are withdrawing security, tomorrow they are returning security, this day they are doing this. It's all deliberate as far as I'm concerned. And I said so. That UD is Jubilee. It just changed the color from red to yellow. But the majority of people who are in Jubilee are now either quietly in UDA or, those who have decided to break ranks with Jubilee as itself.
Right.
That's my view. And I have said this severally, and I can repeat it over and over again.
Right. Gloria, I mean, you are affiliated to UDA. At one point, you're a member. Of course, when you're a member, you're affiliated.
I'm a member.
Let me get that really straight. Fair enough, Gloria. But there's a day I asked you here on this set, and you said, I don't speak for William Ruto. I speak my own.
Things.
All right.
William Ruto is in Jubilee.
Right. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Based on what Senator Mutula Kilonzo says, that there seems to be a narrative, a deliberate one, to actually win Deputy President William Ruto's sympathy votes. That also insinuates that whatever he has gained so far in terms of his popularity is not self-made. It is being supported by these actions that we are seeing today. How would you react to that?
That's one way to think of it, but I'd like to think that the ODM fellows can't believe that truly some things are just working in the favor of William Ruto. Remember, these are the same guys who went for a handshake and told us Kenyans that now they have the system. They are now in government. And we saw the fruits of the handshake. Some of the appointees, including the likes of David Osiani, were the fruits of the handshake. And what they're not understanding is, if we were on a journey with Uhuru Kenyatta and the two of us, we are headed somewhere, why does it appear that, he is campaigning for this person without knowing? So, of course, if you're sitting on that side, if you're an ODM member who was there in the handshake, you've been, you'll
feel you're being played.
You'll feel like you're being played. But I want to say something. It is so far-fetched a narrative to put out here, because, first things first, we saw how the deputy president was completely sidelined. Before even this whole BBI shenanigans, actually right after the handshake, before they crafted this BBI thing, we saw that there was a whole systematic, what I would say, a systematic isolation of the deputy president. At that time, when it was working in the favor of ODM, when it was working in the favor of Raila Odinga, they were not claiming that Uhuru Kenyatta was campaigning for William Ruto. At that time, when they were attending cabinet secretary meetings, when they were actually having some level of influence in what is happening in government, when we had the pandemic and we saw how the COVID money was spent, how the recovery program was put, the boys clubs and things like that, at that time, isolating William Ruto was not an intentional thing that the president is doing to campaign for him. At that time, Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta were buddies. And of course, if we're buddies and this guy doesn't want to work with us, sisi tutafanya venye tunafanya. And at that time, ODM members were very happy. When they were getting their appointments, they were very happy. They were not saying that someone is trying to campaign for William Ruto. But now, because it is working against, they have to really stretch that narrative to now say, hey, hold up. Actually, there are some people who are behind this whole thing, and they are working with Uhuru Kenyatta or whoever parts of Keleweke to push. You can't have your cake and eat it. When he was being isolated, that is when you should have been saying, hey guys, something is happening. There are parts of Keleweke who are actually campaigning for William Ruto. And then possibly we would believe that narrative. But what I want to say is, when someone is so focused on vengeance and hatred and just driven by selfish interests of I have to make sure I show him that I am powerful, they tend not to see the repercussions and the effects of their actions. And that's purely what is happening. The president,
and that is what is happening. Who's this someone?
The president, Uhuru Kenyatta, I don't know where they fell off with William Ruto. Nobody knows actually. Actually, I think only the two of them know. But when you listened to him, when he spoke openly finally to say that the deputy president should resign if he's unhappy, he was a bitter man. He was an angry man. Everything about that press conference, everything about that interview, was very you could tell from his body language, this is a person who's hurt, this is a person who's betrayed, this is a person who's angry. That's why he's saying if he's not happy, he can leave. And that is what is clouding his thinking. That is what actually, I think, influences some of the decisions, like waking up one morning and saying, shake him off, shake the deputy president off of his usual security. He's so clouded with whatever it is that's happening between them that he doesn't understand that the impact of that is that actually he is an asset to the campaign of the deputy president.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, Javas, Gloria says there's bitterness, but could he be the person, Mutula Kilonzo, Senator, is actually saying could be campaigning for the deputy president, giving it to him indirectly, and probably it's just an agreement that, you know, all this is cosmetic?
You see, Eugene, I tend to think that normalizing political maladjustment seems to be our cherished political games, and it seems to be something that now we are blossoming in. This political maladjustment is something that we must frown upon. The issue, even if, for example, the president, of course, presently inadvertently is campaigning for the deputy president, who is now factually his political nemesis, is the reality of our times. But to what extent does it water the tree of good governance? It is something that must be frowned upon properly. In fact, we must start critical conversations around what kind of values is it that we are enriching in our political system. Because if at all, for example, even our own constitution through Article 10, Article 2 provides these good values of governance, very values that the Jubilee government itself is spitting on, then actually we must say, and I agree with Senator Mutula, that President Kenyatta will be judged on how he manages the transition you know, during the 2022
and not the
election.
Big Four agenda.
Well, the Big Four agenda remains a hollow agenda because in these 4 years, nothing has happened about it. And let us face it, we have been properly scripted by the Jubilee government, so much so that we believed actually in the Big Four agenda. UHC failed, Universal Healthcare Program failed. It's not going anywhere. It is something that we badly need. If UHC had properly succeeded, we would not be suffering with these issues of COVID-19 malaise that we're having. If the Big Four agenda was a priority actually of the Jubilee administration and President Kenyatta, we would not be seeing all this buffoonery that is happening in the political space. The other thing is this, that we are using even institutions, we are politicizing credible and serious political serious institutions for political reasons. When we politicize the police, when we politicize public service, that public service today cannot even listen, hear, or take instruction from a deputy president who is second in command. What kind of government are we having in place, or do we want to create? What kind of country? And so we must call every sin by its name. President Kenyatta, Deputy President William Ruto, the Jubilee government in its entirety has let Kenyans down. And it's proper that we tell them to their face that they are engaging in serious bad manners. They are not even going to be good examples for future times. And so, that is why when you even analyze the trends within the campaigns presently, few are talking about substantive ideas that can take this country forward. Nobody, for example, and no political party, including Senator Mutula's political party, none has talked about, for example, the issue that and what they're going to do, for example, with regard to climate change, climate financing, for example. And we are seeing the threat of hunger and famine in this country because of the climate change realities.
Gloria will say that is under the bottom-up approach.
I was actually just going to say that is under the bottom-up economic approach and the appeal on food
the whole point is this. What I'm saying is this, that we are not having critical conversations as we head into an election. Now, when you ask who is fooling who, the answer is very straight from my end. One, the Jubilee administration is fooling Kenyans and fooling ODM. Kenyans are being fooled by the political class. And that's why, for example, when you put Kenyans here and politicians here, you realize that Kenyans actually are not sitting to make critical decisions about the kind of leadership they want. They are only taking sides about regarding the kind of side that political elites have taken.
Right.
And that kind of political games and, sorry for this, foolishness within our political space is not making our country better. And so, if at all we want to ask ourselves who is fooling who, one, we are fooling ourselves to imagine that these political games that are taking place are taking us somewhere. In fact, they're taking us into a very dark pit, a very dark tunnel without an exit sign. And that is what President Kenyatta is taking us to.
Right.
The other thing in closing is this. In 2013, there was smooth transition when President Kibaki handed over power to President Uhuru Kenyatta as he was elected. Would it charm President Kenyatta? Would it impress him when in 2022 he does not witness or occasion such kind of a smooth transition, the kind of transition that actually he was granted?
Right. It's a question we'll dissect as we come back from this particular break. Senator, I want you to stay with us kindly. Gloria and, of course, Javas, I want us to take a very short break, pay some bills, and, of course, when we come back, we'll definitely be able to take a listen to some of the statements that have been made by some of our leaders as far as this particular conversation is concerned. Remember, you can be part of the program. We are still collecting your tweets. The hashtag is @TheBottomLineKE. Tweet us your thoughts from the statements you've heard from our panelists tonight. Would love to hear your views from that particular statement. Stay with us. We'll see you on the side of the break.
Grow your business, broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries, then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700-893-542
or email us on sales@look-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Please make those payments and take dinner out the freezer. Enjoy your day off.
Hey.
How was your day?
Great.
Did you pay the bills?
Abby did it.
And the plumber?
Abby did it.
Send money to your mom?
Abby did it.
Who's Abby?
Bank on WhatsApp with Abby, your 24/7 digital personal banker. Another digital innovation that gets things done. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Did you take dinner out the freezer?
Welcome to Look Up Guest House Retreat and Prayer Center. When you first come in, we will be happy to receive you at our reception, then proceed to our cozy and well-equipped accommodation facilities. We aim to provide our guests with a unique, comfortable, and worthwhile experience. Here at Look Up Guest House, we provide our guests with a continuous supply of room amenities. A cool environment for all your retreat activities.
Look Up Guest House Retreat and Prayer Center. For reservation, contact us on info@lookupguesthouse.org or call us on 0746 788 707. Property Guide in association with
Making an offer for a property. Before making an offer for a property, get a true sense as you can of its value. Remember, the asking price is not the same as the value. It's the seller's aspiration. Read up on similar homes in the area and find out how much they've sold for. Comparing properties of a similar size and location should give you a benchmark figure, which you can adjust by considering other factors such as which school catchment area the property is in, transport links, and so on.
Property Guide in association with like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Lookup TV movement now.
Right, thank you so much for being with us. Of course, this is the Bottom Line KE. We are live, and of course, we are discussing the game plan for 2022. But the big question we are asking is who's fooling who? Because there seems to be some questions that some people have been having out there. But we also want to hear from you. Who do you think is fooling the other when it comes to the whole game plan for 2022 elections? I'm here with Gloria Oroba, youth policy analyst. I have Javas Bigambo, governance expert, and Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. joining us virtually. Thank you so much for still being with us. Before we went for the break, we had your submissions on all this. But I wanted to bring all of you to bring your attention to an incident that happened today. There was a press statement, and of course, it has rubbed various people in very different ways, those in good, but also bad in equal measure. And this is the Secretary General for the Jubilee Party, Raphael Tuju. Raphael Tuju today came out guns blazing, and he made some very strong statements. Number one, you have crossed the line, tame your allies. He also said Ruto has acquired massive wealth, which he cannot explain. He also said, cool your heels. President Kenyatta has been so tolerant. These are very strong statements. And I want to ask Senator Mutula Kilonzo, because earlier on you mentioned that there could be some people deliberately trying to make Deputy President so popular. Look at the person of Raphael Tuju and the Deputy President, even in terms of seniority in government. Are these genuine statements, worthy statements? Do they hold water coming from someone like him to the person of the Deputy President?
Perhaps this should worry all of us. Mm-hmm. The breakdown of government should worry every Kenyan. It's a security threat to have people talking in government in such a manner and addressing one another at press conferences. It is dangerous because it can cause disharmony, it can cause instability. And perhaps it would have been better to handle these matters in the manner the president suggested, where he asked his deputy to easily quit government. Because being in government or being president and deputy is not a forced marriage. We elected them, but we can't allow their dispute to cause instability of the country. We must tell them, and they must be told that they are not more important than Kenya. It's important we make these statements. Now, ask yourself this question: where have they been? And that is the problem I have with these people. Where have they been when he was acquiring the things that you saw on the list? I mean, the sort of evidence that is in the public domain about properties that have been acquired, money, 4.5 billion that was withdrawn for that dam project, confessions that are available on record. Now, what would we rather as a country? Would we rather have statements being issued at Jubilee House or prosecutions? What would we rather have? Because Kenyans want to see this evidence of misappropriation tabled. We would like to know as a country that our security operatives have been watching, or our security operatives didn't wake up from slumber, or some of them are not sleeping in Addis Ababa or Khartoum for purposes of discovering, oh my goodness, you have so many planes. You have a hangar at Wilson Airport. And I'm told that to some extent, even that hangar that is privately owned, at some point had its own customs and immigration. When did they discover this? I have suggested that half of the things that you are seeing now are being done because Jubilee has failed as a country, and I tend to agree. Both the president and the deputy president must apologize to Kenyans. They have borrowed more than they should. We are in debt all the way to our hips, stuck completely because of them. Their projects of laptops and all the nonsense has failed. So you create all these suckers so that we forget. Does it amaze Kenyans that the people who are talking about bettering the economy, who have been sitting in government and messing the economy, how is it that they have turned to be from angels to a saint, from a devil to a saint? We must say this, that the failure of Jubilee is a shared responsibility, the way they talk about their election. It is shared. There's nobody who should say, you are better than the other one, etc., etc. So
in 2022, if they are to go home, it has to be both of them, the president and the deputy president. Is that what you're saying?
They take the blame equally. We must tell them as such, because if we don't tell them that, we are hiding the truth. But, ladies and gentlemen, if we continue this way, a government that is dysfunctional, two people took oath to protect the Constitution, the president and the deputy. Their oath is in the Constitution, and they are behaving this way. This is what we should be talking about. We should be talking about the stability of Kenya is greater than the president and the deputy president. And we cannot allow them to drag us through the mud, because where they disagreed is none of our business. They won an election, they took oath, they said they will work together. If they cannot work together, maybe it's time to pack. Maybe it's time to pack. But Javas spoke about the vacuum, and he even challenged you and said even the party that promoted you to the position you're in is not offering any solutions, any alternatives, and probably that's why there's this vacuum that is being occupied by whatever we are seeing today. Could you respond to him? What vacuum is he talking about? There's no vacuum constitutional. The fact that the president and the deputy president don't see eye to eye doesn't mean the country is not running. The country is running. You know, the constitution is modeled in such a way that there cannot be a vacuum of any sort. What we are lacking is not a vacuum. You don't have leadership. You are lacking leadership. You can't complain about corruption, how you acquired wealth from a platform in Pangani, surely. What are you saying? If this person acquired this wealth illegally, there is a legal mechanism to demonstrate that that money is public money. That is what the Constitution says. There's no vacuum. I mean,
Javas, what's the vacuum? Talk to him.
What are you saying?
First of all, a vacuum of ideas.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. And here the vacuum that I'm talking about, Naramtula, with all due respect, is not a vacuum within the Constitution. It is a vacuum of ideas, a vacuum of character. And this is what we are seeing.
Yeah.
For example, even as we are lamenting here that the president is acting in a manner and the Jubilee Party leadership is acting in such a manner that does not befit the stature and the office that they hold, it is because of that vacuum of ideas, the ideas of good governance. Today, for example, as what you've cited, the Cabinet Secretary for Press Conferences and Jubilee Affairs, Honorable Tuju, who is a Cabinet Secretary without portfolio, has all the time to tell Kenyans, to ask the DP, for example, to account for the wealth that he has accumulated, etc. Have they told us how they have acquired their own wealth? You don't point fingers, for example, and it's okay to ask these questions at the deputy president. You talk about the security that you have accorded him. Yet you don't talk about the security of accorded everybody else. We are concentrating on minute issues and leaving ground, so much ground that needs to be gleaned and garnered, ground about proper leadership. Today, as even the Cabinet Secretary for Press Conferences and Jubilee Affairs, Honorable Tuju, is talking about the issues of wealth. Nobody is critically addressing our preparedness for elections. And there are others that are trying to destabilize even the IBC, etc. We are not focusing our eyes on things that matter. Now, the issue, for example, about even the administrators and public servants using their offices and public resources, misusing actually public resources for political purposes. These are things that we should call out. And when the president is not even right now at all interested to deliver on the issues of the Big Four agenda that he committed, and his entire administration, it creates this space that now has to be filled by politics. When substance is missing, then the opposite takes the center stage.
Right, and that's probably what Senator Mutula should respond to.
Yes.
Substance is missing, and that substance, I'll come to you, Gloria, don't you worry, you know. I'll come to you. No, I'll come to you, I'll come to you. But I want this rebuttal, because there was a statement that was made, and he has to respond.
But even right now,
yes,
and with the brilliant Senator Mutula Kilonzo here, let's face it, even his own party is silent on critical issues.
That's what I wanted him to
including
respond
even the governance. I have not seen even Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka calling out, in fact chastising, and even calling out the leadership of this Jubilee administration and the president for all these bad manners.
Right.
Because he wants to be endorsed or something. I don't know.
Senator, I mean, it's only fair that you rebuttal this. There you go. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Now, let me tell you, I've said this is a conspiracy, and please hear me out. The conspiracy is as follows. There's no lack of ideas. It's just that you move from laptops, SGR, highways, roads, to wheelbarrows. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, how can a country allow to be brainwashed like that? You move from digital laptops to funny things that were used in the 19th century. Now, what I'm simply saying is this, that it's also not correct to say that Kalonzo Musyoka has not spoken out about these issues. In the last statement he issued, and the statement he issued even before he recorded the statement, he says that there is a problem about how the deputy president has acquired his wealth. I mean, is somebody investigating this? Is somebody checking? So, since Kalonzo Musyoka is not in government, he can say so. But Tuju, who is in government, doesn't have the same luxury like I do, Senator Mutula, to complain on the floor of the House and say, things are going wrong here and there. Government must show that the mechanisms already established in the Constitution are working. Either they say that or say those mechanisms are not have failed. So it's not a vacuum of ideas. It's that I think that we have been taken for a ride by the Jubilee government, and they have cleverly run away from the problems they have caused this country, and we have fallen hook, line, and sinker for them. Now, going by what is the trend in Jubilee, the president and the deputy have been, in terms of what they did, because the problems in Kenya are the 2013 to 2017. The so-called divorce and disagreement happens in 2019 after the handshake. And I have my own views about how that was a problem. But the problems they've caused this country happened even before the election. But everybody has forgotten. Now he is a saint selling ideas about how to make the economy better without telling us how did we end up in the problems we are having, where the country has invested in infrastructure, in irrigation schemes, in fake laptops, in fake medical leasing equipment. Kenyans are suffering. and yet Kenyans do not have money in their pocket. That is a problem that we should be talking about. Why do Kenyans feel so disgruntled even when they have beautiful highways? Because they imagine that they are not going to sleep on those roads.
Right.
Those roads are not going to translate to money in their pockets. What happened to the money that we got from World Bank that was supposed to boost small-scale traders, people who are supposed to get money? Have you heard of somebody who got money? No. Why? Because the government would rather keep us busy with all these narratives about who stole what, so that we think that the problems that we have in Kenya is because that person acquired a big estate.
But Senator, the argument is that, and picking from what Javas is saying, we should be expecting to see your party leader, telling to the face of the president all these things that you're saying, taking a different route and a different direction, but we still see him hanging around him at the, these meetings that have been happening around the State House and all that. Is he bold enough to just tell off the president that, look at what my senator is saying, and I think I do not agree and I don't want to be associated with you in any way because you have misled this country or messed this country up?
Now, we signed a cooperation agreement with Jubilee in terms of making sure that their business for purposes of parliament is moving smoothly, etc., etc. Now, my party leader has spoken. He might not have said the things I have said in the manner I have said them, because I am at liberty to, even though we are cooperating with them, to say that what you're doing is wrong for this country. Because we must be honest to the president, and I must say this very, very clearly, that President Uhuru is a very good-hearted person as an individual. But in terms of his administration, which he took oath and we gave him a sword of power to take action against some of these things, you feel to some level of extent that he has allowed a lot of these things, either by action or omission. Because are you saying that his deputy could have acquired all his wealth illegally or otherwise, and the person who briefs him every day has not told him, by the way, do you know your deputy is doing X, Y, Z? It's either that, or he also knows people on his side who have acquired properties or have acquired things or have been in their hands deep in the cookie jar of the treasury on his side. So, when you face with such a situation, you have a dilemma. Yeah. Because if you say this guy is a thief, they will also tell you, how did you acquire X, Y, Z? Right. The idea of Ruto as X number of bodyguards, Gideon Moi as X number of bodyguards. How does that solve the Kenyan problem? It doesn't solve the problem of an ordinary person who wants to live peacefully in Mathare, Kibera, etc., where they're spending a lot of time telling people that, no, we are suffering because of this government. Yeah. I just don't like the narrative where governments complains. A government cannot complain. Who are we supposed to run to as a public? Thank you. Yeah.
Gloria, it's your time. You have the floor now. And I want to read your thoughts on some of the statements that our Senator has made, including the one that he says the blame should be taken or to be apportioned to everyone within government, including the deputy president.
That is escapism.
And if they are to go in 2022, they go all of them.
That is escapism. The same way you asked him about his party leader and he dilly-daddied, and when he went around the corner, like, you can just say, my party leader has not said anything because he's a coward. That's it. My party leader has, you can't say me, I can say this, but my party leader, why? If you want to hold, let's say, for instance, the deputy president, that we have to hold him accountable and he has to, we have to place that same expectation to everyone, including his party leader. And when Tuju came out and gave this press conference where, and first of all, we have to understand, Tuju's background is that he was a news presenter or something. He was actually in the media. So if you ask me, I'm reading a little bit of midlife crisis, wanting to get back in the game. There was absolutely no need for a press conference. Absolutely no need for a press conference for him to say the things that he said. To come out and say, his wealth, he should then tell us how much he has given to KRA. Why is he addressing us? He's a CAS. They can write him a letter officially and say, in fact, they can ask KRA to write him a letter officially and ask him to remit his taxes or show proof of payment of his taxes. So, two things are happening here. Yeah. When it comes to certain politicians, we tend to be forgiving. For instance, when we are talking about corruption cases, we will be like, oh, you know, this happened, Weston, nini. But nobody is going to tell you about monopolizing of the milk industry. Nobody will sit and say, why is that milk industry, you know, why is that happening there? Nobody will tell you, okay, SGR, who benefited from SGR? The other day I had the, what's his name? Jimmy Wanjigi saying, he became, you know, a billionaire by selling garbage. And we chewed on that stuff like, oh my goodness, hope. But when someone comes and says, me, I have been selling chicken, you know, it's like, oh, utauzaje kuku kwe billionaire. Uyu aliuza takataka, literally, you know, and now he's saying he's a billionaire, and we want to say, yeah, that's possible. But the chicken seller cannot be a billionaire. You understand? So if we are going to come out here and say we are being objective, we are being fair, we just want people to be held accountable. Everybody has to be held accountable. You know, the party leader of Senate has to be held accountable. Why is he quiet? Why is he acting like he condones whatever is happening? Raila Odinga has to be held accountable because we've, for the longest time, known him to be pushing a socialist idea, you know, a man of the people, speaking for those who don't have a voice. Not only to come and say, how did William Ruto become rich? Okay, let's also ask, how did Matiang'i become rich? Let's also ask, how did some of our cabinet secretaries move from an appointment to suddenly owning, you know, fleets of vehicles and whatnot? And, you know, what we're seeing now, we have the public service actually engaging in politics. And as I was coming to studio, I was thinking about this situation where you have the CAS, Zach Kinuthia, who is appearing everywhere, politicking, openly, and very, you know, confidently, as though he has not read Mwongozo, you know? Mwongozo is the guideline where we are told how to be as a public servant, as though he has no clue what Mwongozo says. He's out here politicking, obviously, but he doesn't get even a slap on the hand, you know, because he's in the right side of the political divide. The other day we had Joe Musheru trying his hand at, you know, being, let me say, at trending on Twitter, telling us that you can't tell youth that they are hustlers. This guy has held his position in that office that is supposed to represent the youth and empower the youth for so long, but you cannot actually get any tangible results. But he feels that he has the moral authority to come and say, this Hustler Nation narrative is nonsense. And when someone says that there's a vacuum, Javas, you said we have a vacuum of ideas. Is it because we are choosing to ignore the fact that someone has brought up the lowest in the food chain, put them at the table on political discussions and said, listen, come 2022, we are now focusing on the economy and we are focusing on the bottom-up economic approach. Isn't that not an idea? Why would someone sit here and say, we lack ideas?
No, someone is Javas. Just tell him in his face. We have an idea that has really, let me say, resonated with the people. That has really, people are starting to understand. Although in the beginning they made fun of it. I've had senators talking about how do we go from railways to wheelbarrows and, you know, making light of very serious discussions. But the wheelbarrow was a symbol. And the moment we introduced that wheelbarrow as the Hustler Nation movement, every single political party or anyone who's interested in 2022 succession politics started talking about the economy. Even Musalia Mudavadi came and said, hey, guys, I've been talking about the economy and I'm also a part of this. So the ideas are there. The only thing is those who lack the ideas, and by those I mean the Kieleweke faction, who up till today cannot tell you who their presidential candidate is. At least One Kenya Alliance have 5 presidential candidates, right? But, you know, ODM we know for a fact, it's like that picture they say, guess who's going to be the presidential candidate for ODM, and they only cover Raila Odinga's eyes, you know. At least the other people have some direction. The people who lack ideas... You've just written off Jimmy Wanjigi again.
No, I've just said...
Yet he has already submitted his papers.
That's okay. That's okay. Everyone in ODM can submit papers. We know Raila Odinga is running. Everyone can submit, but so let's not say there's a vacuum of ideas when we have a very strong idea that has resonated with the people. And actually, I feel as though instead of us focusing on that idea that has been tabled and, criticizing that idea and saying, translate this to policy or give us a manifesto or what, they start saying, so chicken seller atakuwa nini. Give us an idea. Let ODM stand in podiums in churches if they go to church and say, Buy Kenya, Build Kenya is about ABCD and
then we compete on ideas.
And then we compete on ideas. Yeah.
You see, the issue of the bottom-up economics is William Ruto's centrifugal force for his candidature. And each presidential candidate should actually reasonably and properly so have his own or her own. But we cannot all of us coalesce around Deputy President William Ruto's idea.
Correct.
He needs to push his own idea. Other candidates to push their own idea. And that's why even Chancellor's brother Mutula here, that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is quite coy even about his candidature. If at all a number of these presidential candidates, their greatest positioning right now is that they want to be president. But you're not even telling us that proper formula that you will use to take us out of these problems that we are facing, or we have faced even with Jubilee for these 9 years, 9.5 years or so. And the kind of yearning and thirst of leadership and governance that Kenyans have. And let's face it, we may try to be blind to it now, but fact is this: the lack of, or the deficiency of ideas, and these ideas is in the collective, these deficiencies in the collective, is what is making us feel that when one particular proposition has been put forth, then we must run to the mountains and celebrate for the same. We must, in the collective, cherish having great ideas. That idea, for example, for William Ruto, it is about the economy. And you see, it's resonating, yes, and now people are getting to discuss William Ruto's idea about the economy. That is not the only idea that presidential candidates should have.
Correct.
There is so much as any candidate must have the issue of the economy at heart, if at all you need to take a country forward. We must tell our leaders, including, and I am calling so much Senator Mutula's party because he's the only one who is here and he can respond, that his party, even though, of course, the other day I think they unveiled the command center, but we must have something to command. The country needs to be taken forward. We need to see beyond the issue of, and the mistake that even various political parties and candidates have been doing, is tell us that, you see, here is my manifesto. Which political party got power and actually fully, properly implemented their manifesto? Jubilee Party, in this second term, has not even implemented 20% of its manifesto that they commissioned in 2017. They did not even achieve 35% of the Jubilee manifesto of 2013. So if people want to tell us that we will launch our manifesto and this is what we will do, I mean, that's a circus. In fact, we must come to a point where we must reject the idea of manifestos just on the eve of an election. And give the devil his due. Whether you want to like William Ruto or hate him, he has started the idea about what he wants to champion for way in advance. And that's what we must demand of every presidential candidate. And I want to ask all of us as Kenyans to raise our standards. And when we raise our standards to the higher levels, beyond the neck, tell our leaders that, look, it's not about how you're going to be costumed in these particular colors during political rallies. We want to get ideas. This issue of using young people at rallies to sing, compose music and sing and exploit them, and make narratives and listen to even what, and I'm even so sad to listen to what even George Aladwa said the other day. If we are starting the turbines of tribalism right now, I would want to agree with what Senator Mutula said, that we are headed into a very dangerous place in 2017, if we're not careful. 2022 rather. And that's why we must tell President Uhuru Kenyatta, stand firm, use the office that you've been given.
Where are you leaving the deputy president?
Yes, to make, because he's the head of government. To make the country better.
Autonomy. That's what I keep
to make the country better.
The collectiveness of, if they failed collectively. This thing, if you're deputizing someone, you are deputizing someone. You
so
know?
the buck stops with the leader.
The buck stops with the person with the full autonomy is the president.
Let me bring in Senator Mutula. There's a tweet here. that says, with a lot of respect, Eugene, ask Gloria to withdraw the statement calling our Wiper party leader a coward. And I want to hear your thoughts, Senator, because we know you do not hold brief for your party leader. Probably you do, but at least the way Java said, could you be able to respond to this? The lack of the ideas, the lack of stepping forward and saying, you know what, I'll take this bold step. Yes, I know we are in this situation. It creates the narrative that there are no other alternative ideas, and that's why everybody's just debating around an idea of one of the political presidential candidates.
Yes, thanks. I thought you should ask Gloria to apologize to my party leader because I have not called Ruto a thief. And I can do that. So she cannot call my party a coward.
I want to justify my statement.
You must apologize.
Can I justify my statement? I must not do nothing.
We must agree on
No, I must not. You cannot.
Senator Mutula needs an apology.
Listen, he can need one, and I must not do nothing that I'm not willing to do. Here's my thing. What is the definition of a coward? What is it? I will just read you a definition of a coward. A person who lacks courage to do unpleasant things.
No.
It is unpleasant for him to step up.
Let's agree.
To step up and actually say that, this is the position where we should be. That is a coward.
Yeah. Let's hear from Senator.
That's a coward. With all due respect.
Yeah. We have agreed to sit in this panel so that we can exchange ideas and be respectful to one another without necessarily using those sort of words against leaders, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help the cause, and it's not going to get you any bonga points with William Ruto by calling Kalonzo a coward. Let's be nice. It helps. And we are discussing a country where people can have conversations without name calling. It opens your mind to maturity. We must appear mature in the presence of all these things that are clouding our thinking.
At the expense of what?
No, Gloria, are you going to apologize for that statement?
Listen, I am not sorry for pointing out that his party leader has not come out and spoken against
without
the things.
saying that, without calling it cowardice.
I've just asked I've asked you to give me the definition of a coward. I've asked you to give me the definition of a coward.
But you see, you've said what you've said without saying coward.
No, listen, we've come to this show to express our opinions, express our thoughts.
But he's expressing his feelings. He feels like
I'm expressing mine. And I'm expressing mine. So to tell me to suppress my feelings because it makes him uncomfortable we're not having a healthy conversation. We need to get to a place in this country.
But let me tell you, it's no big deal. The lady is a young lady. I mean, if you compare her age and that of Kalonzo Musyoka, she can't hold a candle to him to call him a coward. But I will leave it at that. The point I wanted to make is this, that even our own conversations for media, somehow even the media suppresses the information that they release. They have carried the hustler narrative in the media. Even when Kalonzo Musyoka talks about a 24-hour economy, nobody listens because nobody wants to hear that sort of thing. You don't want to hear what a 24-hour economy. You want to think of big things. But I go back to the question, to the topic: who is fooling who? William Ruto will not become president because of bottom-up economics. That is garbage. In the end, he is going to go to Central, tell them that you cannot elect Raila Amolo Odinga. He will go to Kambani and say Kambas, like what Gachagua said, Kambas are 1.1 million shillings. You can't become president by becoming 1 million shillings. In the end, they are fooling us. They are fooling us with all this crap about bottom-up economics and stuff like that. In the end, they are going to pull up tribal card. So don't make so much weather about these bottom-up economics that don't make sense. Even they cannot even pronounce the word bottom-up economics properly. They don't even know what it is. There's nowhere in the world where anybody has done anything of the sort. And if you do the numbers are wrong, it will not work. It's just a mantra to get attention, and it has worked. I must admit it has worked. So who is fooling who? We have been fooled into that sort of thing. And the country is going to be fooled again. Because I've said Jubilee got into power by false pretenses. They pretended they were agents of change. They pretended they were youthful. They pretended they were young. They pretended they could do things digitally. And they have metamorphosized from red to yellow. They want to continue with fooling us, and nobody is going to call them out. We are calling them out for trying to mislead Kenyans, for causing death of Kenyans by stealing from us through COVID funds, by stealing money belonging to Galana Kulalu, by stealing money belonging to Aurora and Kumaredu Dam and acquiring properties and assets, and they are giving back money to us through churches and all this nonsense about being generous as if it's Christmas.
Darren seemed comfortable.
No. I'm actually surprised that he's calling them out. We must call them out. We must say this. But when I call out his party leader, I have to be.
Did I call your party leader a thief?
So let's be honest. Let's be honest.
He says he did not call your party leader a thief.
His statement.
Did I call him a thief?
His statement has just proved that when it suits them, like now he's saying, these people have fooled us, which I could also say, hey, that's borderline abusive. They are fooling us. They've done this. They've stolen. We must call them out. I just called out his party leader for not standing up for what he should do.
That's
and
what
that's
I
a
said.
rightful thing
I don't
to
need
do,
an apology from
So if we are going to call out everyone,
on.
then we should also start from within, I'm calling out those people out there, but here in my party, I can't call them out.
Senator, we can't hear you. You're saying, Senator, unasema? Senator, we can't hear you. Can you come back? Yeah?
I'm saying, please don't try and extract an apology from her. Even if she apologizes, it won't help. I'm
not apologizing, though, just to be clear.
Yeah. I've said the topic here is fool.
Yeah.
Who is fooling who? When I say you are fooling us, you are fooling us. Is ask the moderator why he came up with the topic fooling.
Yeah.
Who is fooling who? You're fooling us, and we must tell you you're fooling Kenyans, and you can only fool Kenyans for a short time. Trust me, you can fool us now. You're not going to fool us forever. We're going to catch up with you at some point.
Yeah.
Like, for now, enjoy the bonga points of trying to fool us about bottom-up things.
Senator, you've alluded to the fact that it is working. You said the narrative of bottom-up.
But can I say something,
Nairobi,
though?
this is a very important
because I've been
question,
patient. Can I say something? Because he talked about all this Kimwaror and dams and what, but he forgot to mention the managed equipment services. He forgot to mention KEMSA, which, by the way, we know the nephews and the nieces of who are part of that. BBI in itself is an illegality where billions were spent, and we know who got the tenders for printing the document. So, let's call out everybody, not just one side of the divide.
That's our point, Senator, that we need to call out everybody.
No, what did I say? Maybe the lady is not listening. I said everything about the failure of Jubilee is shared. The reason why they cannot tackle the corruption that is the side of Tanga is because there's corruption on the side of Kieleweke. They are all thieves. They are stealing. In fact, what my vegetable vendor told me, Mtula, in Jubilee there are two thieves. One thief shares with us, the other thief doesn't share with us. They are thieves. What are you saying? I've said it before
also
that the reason why they cannot call out corruption is because both sides of the divide have their hands in the cookie kitchen.
Right.
Mheshimiwa, you forgot some other thieves. The thieves who came up with that thing called Building Bridges Initiative and went to our taxes and picked money there and went around campaigning, and also on top of that started printing books only for us to be told it is an illegal. That is also a form of theft. So if we are going to talk about thieves, let's not just say Jubilee.
I want to promise something as the moderator of the conversation.
Very
I will definitely organize a conversation on theft.
Yes.
And I hope you guys will be able to.
We'll come with all
so that we can call everybody
facts,
out. Okay.
Yes.
I want to move the conversation forward and bring in Javas. Javas, as we come close to the end of the conversation, of course, the fooling continues to those who feel they're actually being fooled and they have the right to feel that way. We have started seeing change of tune or something of the sort coming very soon, especially from the region of Central Province. We've had Speaker Muturi, we've had Martha Karua. They've started joining hands to be able to create a force on themselves. But then there is the Governor Anne Waiguru, who today seems to be already starting to raise the red flag, to say, hey guys, I think there's something cooking, and it's probably because of my position. Because a few weeks ago she said, who told you that we have picked Raila Odinga? Who told you? We said we are open to everyone. We still are searching for that particular person. Are you foreseeing a change of allegiance in a very massive way as we head towards 2022?
It is tribal capitalism at work.
Yeah.
Because as we even head into the election, we know very well that each party and each serious candidate has a tribal calculator.
Yeah.
What is it that's going to work for the party? What kind of conglomerations and formations are they going to bring together? And this is about seeing what regions to try and woo, etc. But beyond that, it's also a question of political survival. This political survival is tampered with truth and reality that's on the ground.
Yeah.
If you come from an area where you realize that so much coal is beneath your feet, if you seem to be on the wrong side of the political conversation by the voters, then you are only supposed then to do the honorable thing. Either stick to your position and lose at the ballot, or get to shift. I do not want to go into the missive that was written by Senator Kangata, who said that the ground in central Kenya perhaps is not so much receptive to matters of BBI. But it is very curious what position Governor Waiguru has been taking. Of course, we've seen her even in Nakuru with the Honorable Raila Odinga. Yes, much as she has not personally been committed or committed to indicate that they will hunt every vote in favor of Raila Odinga. But she has been oscillating towards the side of Raila Odinga. And of course, even she, from the time that she went for the laundry cleansing at Capitol Hill, etc. But right now, I think each serious politician will want to put their ears on the ground. Put your ear on the railway and hear and determine whether the train is coming. And that is a question of having conversations with the voters, getting to know what is it that exactly they feel. If you're also able to reshape the narratives on the ground, then it works for you. If not, for example, even Brother Mutula here, he knows very well that if he was to join UDA, for example, or join a different party in Ukambani, he wants to be governor, he may find the ground speaking a different language far from him. And so,
because of what? Because of ideas, or because of the tribes, or because of the affiliation?
Because the challenge that we have in this country, we have not grown our political parties to transcend this tribal hegemony in our politics. We have not transcended that yet. And the other thing that parties owe their significance and might to the tribal extraction of the party leader also plays a role. And for instance, if you go to a place like Kakamega or Sabatia or rather Vihiga, and you want to contest on a party that is far different from ANC, even though you may possibly win, but it will be a very uphill task because of the ANC factor and Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. So our parties have been fashioned, woven around with the threads of tribalism, etc. And this, of course, influences the manner in which candidates position themselves. But it will remain very curious to the statements that have been spoken by Governor Waiguru. Of course, she has even indicated, of course, through her social media handles, that she fears some form of witch hunt coming ostensibly by the positions that she has taken politically, or being perceived to be sitting on the fence. And for Central Kenya, the fact that they do not have this official spokesperson, the heir apparent after President Uhuru Kenyatta, it even makes the matter more complex, because now it's a question of push and pull, and people pulling in different directions for political survival, and also to see who is it that will emerge in the end with the greatest position of influence and see or rise later to be the figurehead or the poster face of the Mount Kenya region.
Right. Senator, I would love to hear your word on the same, especially when a politician says that it is not yet time to join UDA for now. It is not the right time for this conversation. However, my decision will be decided by my people. When you
that
hear
is
this,
who? Is that Waiguru?
This is Madam Anne Waiguru.
I've said this before, and allow me to repeat just for the avoidance of doubt, that a lot of the Central Kenya leaders are easily UDA by day and night, only that they have not disclosed. Because a lot of them don't want, and I think this has been said before, that they don't want to associate with Raila Odinga because according to them, that perception will cause them to lose their election. They want to associate with William Ruto because of the perceptions that have been created around the fight in Jubilee. So that statement is very curious, and all of you must note that when push comes to shove, in the end, everybody who was in Jubilee will be in UDA. The only people who haven't seen this folly, and I'm afraid my principals in NASA have not seen this folly, that everybody will troop to Jubilee and NASA will be left somewhere out there hanging, wondering what is going on. I've bothered to say that it's possible that the same mandarins of Jubilee caused a split of NASA for whatever reason. I keep saying that this is a continuous conspiracy. I'm a lawyer, I'm allowed to think that way, and I'm also a politician. It's a conspiracy to break NASA and promote Ruto. They never wanted BBI. They just wanted to create a fuss. The same people who are promoting it, including Irungu Kangata, are the same people who jump ship. Immediately they made a mess of it. You are not going to sell it. To some extent, the politics of the country will continue the same way they were in 2013, the same way they were in 2017. So, and I said before, all these mantras being created, whether it's bottom-up economics or this, is just to fill in the interlude between now and at the time when the politics of this country is going to be the tyranny of tribes. That is the day they will start counting how many Luos, how many Kikuyus, how many Kalenjins, Nanini, mutasahau. Because the day we go to election, I can tell you for free now. People will not be carrying the pamphlet of bottom-up party. Oh, by the way, this hustler thing, is it bottom-up or top-bottom, or is it pouring upside down? They'll be thinking about their tribe. And that's why I keep insisting that I am more concerned about a peaceful election, not concerned about those narratives, because those narratives are not going to inform the people who are in some deep place in Muranga, some place in Lokichang, Baswen in Wajir, Kakuma, or even Lunga, out there in the sea. They will not be thinking about those things. They'll be thinking, where are our people? Where is so-and-so? Can I see Mutula here? Can I see, that sort of thing. So let's talk about a country where we have a peaceful election. They are going to continue fooling us. But as Bob Marley said, you can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Thank you.
Ata rege kizima. Senator, you seem to have thrown in the towel. From your submissions, you seem like mume give up. Ikitu imeenda. And yet, you have your party leader who wants to be presidential candidate.
No. I'm just simply saying, forget about the narratives. The question of how this election is going to come will come. And that's why I'm passionately talking about election day, because I'm already there. I'm simply saying, these narratives are not going to get Ruto into presidency. He will go and try and conglomerate a tribal outfit. He will try and dangle a carrot about the deputy in Central and whatever it is. That's what he's going to do eventually. But these other things are just to fill in the period now and give him mileage, bonga points everywhere, newspaper headlines, Twitter, Nini, those things. So please remember my theory is that we need a peaceful election, and that peaceful election is where whoever wants to come up with whatever outfit, including ourselves, let it be done peacefully so that we have a country. That is more important than narratives, because I have just demonstrated the narratives are not going to get anybody into presidency. That's not what is going to count. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator. Thank you for your submission. I don't know who went before, Senator. It is you now.
I'm saying I now understand why ODM or all other political parties have taken so long to actually get on board that we are now in the new age politics, the issue-based politics. When I hear Senator speaking, he's saying, forget about all these things. In the end, we are going to go back to the tyranny of tribe. And to some extent, there is some sense in what he's saying. But this is what I want to point out. If you think that there are no people out here who will go to the ballot and actually vote for William Ruto because of the Hustler Nation narrative, you're so mistaken. There are people who have chosen not to see that he's from Rift Valley, who have chosen not to see that he's from UDA or Jubilee, who actually are like, I resonate with what he's trying to do with this narrative, and I will just vote because of the narrative. And it's unfortunate that while we are trying to move forward out of the tribal politics, guys are so determined to pull us back into the tribal politics. And you know, when you say political parties in different regions follow tribe, like if you are in Western, you'll be in ANC. If you come to my county, Kisii County, nobody really cares about your political party, you know? ODM didn't even have one member of parliament until the by-election that we had in Bonchari. They didn't have one member of parliament in Kisii County.
The argument is that those in Central Province that have been supporting the President and Prime Minister Raila Odinga are now getting scared of what Java said, political survival.
Yes.
And if they're not on the right side, then they might not survive in 2022.
Political survival is relevant in different places. I mean, it's political survival, for instance, in Kisii County is not necessarily the political party. Political survival right now in Mount Kenya, the dynamics are different. Political survival in a place where,
is that what you're seeing in Mount Kenya
in Kivuta Kibwana's county, political survival there will be based on issues, because he's actually demonstrated as a leader you can deliver. So it's relevant, you know, it depends on where you are in. So, and what we are trying to change, when I say we, I mean the Hustler Nation movement, United Democratic Alliance Party, you know, what we are trying to change is we actually can push politics from a different perspective. And yes, you say we will mobilize on a tribal level, because let me ask you, if you come to Nairobi, for instance, we don't mobilize on a tribal level in Nairobi. You'll now go into the estates, you know, because it has its own dynamics, you know. So, yes, I will go to Kisii. I'll have a regional economic block for Kisii, because for Nyanza, because maybe Siaya, Kisii, and whatever have the same things. But then I'll be mobilizing them based on their ideology.
Governor Waiguru could be positioning herself for the deputy president position. True or not true? Within the UDA?
First of all, we welcome everyone to UDA. And when I mean everyone, I'm even talking about Senator. We welcome everyone to UDA. I do believe that, you know, when there's a good thing in the markets, everyone wants to buy into it. When there's a beautiful girl out there, every man is looking and admiring. When there's a handsome man out there, every woman is like, I want to be with that guy. So, I mean, it is almost obvious that right now, you'd say the party, the preferred political party at the moment is actually UDA. Even guys in ODM, I can tell you this for a fact, are actually kind of thinking, you know, does it make sense for me to stay here? Do I have more things to gain on the other side? Simply because it's not based on tribe, you know, simply because UDA has demonstrated that indeed you can have a national outfit like they were trying to have with Jubilee. So for me, first of all, I would say Governor Waiguru is trying to survive. It is an open, it's not a secret that, you know, she had a lot of challenges during her term. There was a time nothing was happening in that county because wamepigana na MCA huko. She couldn't even go to her own county. She was operating from Nairobi and a chief of staff from I don't know where. So for her, it's survival. So, and that's the really, I would say, sad thing about that kind of politics.
So if she was to join tomorrow, a
if you
party
ask
that
her why
you
she
are a
wants to
member,
join UDA,
so you still tell her in her face that
her-
you've just joined us because you want to survive.
Of course. Because these are people who don't even believe in the ideology we are trying to push. But you see, for us, it is like we are like, Mungu alisema, you go and be fishers of men, bring them all into the church, and then we will deal with whether they believe it or not.
Yeah.
So I don't think she believes in any of that ideology.
Yeah.
I don't think she actually herself has personal ideologies as a politician. I think for her, she went into politics out of opportunity. She managed to be the governor out of, you know, whatever circumstances. And now she's thinking how, this is when you're told, fake it till you make it, but figure out how you're going to keep it. Because you can fake it and you can make it, and once you sit on that seat, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm governor. Now, how do I get re-elected?
If she becomes the deputy president, would you apologize to her for what you just said?
Absolutely not. She knows, if she's watching, that she is trying to survive. So why would I apologize for telling you your name is Anangwe?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Is it Javas who's giving us the last one? But I see Senator is smiling like he wants to sneak in one point. Itakuwa fupi kidogo, Senator. Fupi kidogo tu. What is it that is amusing you there?
I mean, this UDA fellows are not very nice when they are speaking about other people. But we'll leave it. Thank you for inviting us, and we should continue this discussion about these narratives. You said one time you call us to talk about thieves.
Yeah.
You should call us to say what exactly is so fundamentally wrong with this country that we worship, idealize thieves. I mean, if you're a poor person, you're nobody. You have to be rich to become a president. You have to steal to become a president. If you don't own a chopper, you don't own a vast estate, you can't become a president. It means, and it means the person, a random Kenyan out there, cannot vie without money. What sort of country are we building? What sort of example are you giving to young lawyers who want to study law and become leaders? Somebody sent me a message today, they want to vie. But the message we are telling them is, first of all, be corrupt, make some money, get into the headlines, and then you can be elected a president, an MP, etc., etc. It's a wrong notion.
It's a wrong notion.
It's wrong for a country to have a strata that suggests that without money and without all this, I call them primitive show of opulence, you cannot become a president, a deputy president at that level. It's very sad. Thank you.
Right. But before you switch off, Senator, are you in any way going to say, you're not party leader? I think the writing is on the wall. The wave, the tsunami that Baba talks about is actually William Ruto. Can we go work with him? Is this something that can happen?
No, let me say this. For purposes, let me say this. For purposes of presidential elections, whether it's 2003, 2007, 2013, or 2017, these discussions about what is going to happen should be in January, February, or even March. It's too early for some of these discussions.
So anything is possible.
But I can tell you for free, absolutely, William Samoei Ruto is going to face Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Straight, absolutely. He can do kazi ni kazi, we will do kazi bila wizi. We are going to sell that. Straight, they must know that.
I like that.
Nice.
I like
Javas,
that.
let's have Javas close. We need to go home now, but Javas, you have the last word.
Well, I think it's been a fine discussion. But still, we have got a chance to make Kenya that city upon a hill.
Yeah.
If we choose to build this country with the right kind of mortar, right kind of ballast, and choose to tell our leaders right in their faces whether they are incompetent or letting us down or headed into the right direction, or rather the wrong direction, that we must choose the right compass and move in the right direction. Right now, the Supreme Court indicted IEBC, remember, in 2017, in the manner that they conducted the election. Recently, of course, with the various determination, the decision of even the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal's decision was a serious indictment on IEBC, and even, of course, primarily IEBC. I don't want to go about the other characters. Here, we should start thinking about how can we make sure that IEBC is a firm, well-prepared institution to conduct a free, transparent, verifiable election that is, within the rule of law, those margins. We must have a serious and a credible election. We must politicians or even government fellows to tinker with this 2022 general election.
Yeah.
We must not allow ourselves to miss a chance to renegotiate our democracy and our nationalism, because each time we head to an election, we are negotiating our nationalism and trying to reclaim it.
Right. Thank you so much. Lady and gentlemen, asanteni sana. It was a great conversation. If we touched on wrong cables and everything, I want to apologize on behalf of everyone here. If we did not meet your expectations as a viewer, pole sana. We'll definitely keep trying to improve on everything. But the bottom line is that we have a country that belongs to all of us. Earlier today, I had a very great conversation with Reverend Timothy Joy, and there's one thing he said, that knowledge will give you the power, knowledge will give you the authority. And as we talk about who's fooling who, the question is, or my urge to you, is seek knowledge, study, research, go through every statement that these leaders are telling you. When you're knowledgeable, you will not be fooled by anyone. And that's my parting shot, and that's the bottom line tonight. We want to say thank you for being a part of the conversation. It ends in these four walls, but continues on our social media platforms. The hashtag, as always, is The Bottom Line KE. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Goodbye for now.
Grow your business, broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries, then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542 700 893 542 or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Health Check in association with Natural Juicing Center. Your health is your wealth.
Benefits of fresh juices.